When I, 28M, look back at my childhood, I see it painted in stark contrast. The golden glow around my older brother, Liam, 31M, and the shadow in which I was forced to live. Liam was a golden child, mom and dad's pride and joy, the prodigy who could do no wrong. I, on the other hand, was the extra kid, tolerated but never celebrated. This isn't just the bitterness of a neglected child talking. This is years of evidence stacked like bricks in a wall of resentment I never asked to build. Liam was the athlete, the straight-A student, the charming son who could light up a room. My parents spent thousands of dollars on his football equipment, training camps, and college applications. They beamed with pride at his every accomplishment, throwing parties for his wins and milestones. Meanwhile, I was lucky if they even remembered my birthday. Once, when I turned 10, Mom forgot to buy me a cake. Liam swooped in with a joke about sharing his leftover cake from the week before, and everyone laughed like it was adorable. I laughed too, hiding the sting. By the time I turned 18, I had no expectations left. My parents had saved every penny for Liam's Ivy League tuition, leaving me to figure out college on my own. It wasn't even a discussion. "You're smart," Dad said. "You'll figure out something affordable." I did. I worked 2 jobs and went to a state school on scholarships. Liam graduated debt-free, and my parents bragged about his achievements like they were their own. They didn't even attend my graduation, claiming they were busy helping Liam move into his new apartment. The final straw came last Christmas. By now, I distanced myself emotionally, but I still attended family gatherings to avoid the endless guilt trips. This year, it was at Liam's house, a sprawling suburban dream home my parents had helped him buy. They insisted on hosting Christmas there because, of course, Liam's house was perfect for entertaining. I showed up with a bottle of wine and a small gift for my parents, determined to keep the peace. The evening was predictably Liam-centric. My parents gushed over every detail of his life, from his promotion to his new SUV. When they finally turned to me, it was just to ask, "So, still working at that tech company?" I said yes. They nodded politely and moved on. Dinner was where things exploded. Liam's wife, Emily, who's sweet but blissfully unaware, announced that they were expecting their first child. My parents went wild, tears, hugs, and champagne toasts. Then Mom turned to me and said, "Maybe it's time you start thinking about settling down. You're not getting any younger, you know." The words hit like a slap. I'd been dating my girlfriend, Anna, for 3 years, but my parents barely acknowledged her existence. She wasn't even invited to this dinner. I tried to stay calm, but the bitterness that had been simmering for years boiled over. "Maybe if you ever cared about my life, you'd know I've been thinking about that," I said. The room went silent. Mom gasped like I'd just cursed at her. Dad frowned and said, "Don't ruin this night for your brother." That was it. I stood up, grabbed my coat, and left without another word. That night, I couldn't sleep. The injustice of it all burned in my chest. But instead of sulking, I decided it was time to do something. Revenge wasn't about being petty. It was about reclaiming my worth, proving I wasn't the footnote in Liam's golden story. The first step of my plan was subtle. I started cutting back on communication, ignoring the guilt-laden texts and calls. "Are you coming to Liam's baby shower?" Mom asked in one message. I left it on read. When the holidays rolled around, I didn't visit. Instead, I spent Christmas with Anna's family, who treated me like I actually mattered. Then came the big move. After years of grinding at work, I had saved enough to start my own business, a tech consultancy firm. It was risky, but within months, I had my first major clients and a steady stream of revenue. My business grew, and so did my confidence. For the first time, I was living for myself, not for their approval. Months later, the news about my success started circulating among extended family. I didn't tell my parents directly. I wanted them to hear it secondhand. When they finally called to check in, their tone was different, more interested, almost reverent. "We're so proud of you," Mom gushed. It was laughable. Proud? They didn't even know what I did for a living. The final blow came when Liam reached out. His tone was friendly but strained. "Hey, I heard about your business," he said. "Congrats, man. Listen, I was wondering if you could help me with something. Our tech system at work has been a nightmare. Maybe you could take a look." It was rich, coming from the golden child who'd never lifted a finger for me. I politely declined, citing a packed schedule. The satisfaction was sweeter than I expected. I could have left it there, but I wanted closure. One evening, I invited my parents to dinner. It was the first time we'd spoken face-to-face in over a year. Over wine and a carefully cooked meal, I laid it all out. The years of favoritism, the neglect, the pain they'd caused. To their credit, they listened. Mom cried. Dad looked uncomfortable but didn't interrupt. When I finished, I said, "I don't need an apology. I just need you to understand why I've kept my distance." They nodded. And for the first time, I saw something like regret in their eyes. It didn't erase the past, but it felt like a step forward. Now, I'm in a place of peace. My relationship with my parents is cordial but distant, on my terms. Liam and I are civil, though we'll never be close. And as for Anna, we're planning our wedding next spring. I've learned that family isn't about blood, it's about the people who choose to stand by you. And for that, I'll always be grateful. Update 1. It's been a couple of weeks since that dinner with my parents. The conversation was raw, and while it felt cathartic to finally voice my feelings, I've been grappling with their reactions. Mom has been texting more frequently, updates about her day, little jokes, even questions about my business. Dad, unsurprisingly, has been more reserved, though he did call once to ask if I'd be open to grabbing a beer sometime. I'm cautiously optimistic but hesitant to let them fully back in. Anna, ever the wise one, reminded me that while their regret seems genuine, real change takes time. I've decided to keep my boundaries intact for now, letting them show through actions whether they truly want to repair things. As for Liam, silence. He hasn't reached out since I declined his work request, which, honestly, feels like a win. I don't owe him my time or expertise, and it's freeing to no longer feel obligated to cater to his needs. Update 2. Anna and I officially announced our engagement, and while most of my friends and extended family were thrilled, my parents' reaction was complicated. Mom was excited but immediately asked, "Have you told Liam?" I hadn't, nor did I plan to. Why should I? Liam wasn't exactly in my corner growing up, and I don't see why that should change now. The real drama started when word got back to Liam. Apparently, he felt slighted that I didn't personally inform him of the engagement. He called me out of the blue, launching into a guilt-laden spiel about family respect and how I was making everything about myself. I calmly pointed out that respect is earned, not owed, and that he's had 28 years to show me he cared. The conversation ended with him hanging up on me. No loss there. Update 3. One surprising twist has been the reaction of extended family. My cousin Sophie, who I hadn't spoken to in years, reached out after hearing about the dinner confrontation. She admitted that she'd noticed the favoritism growing up but didn't know how to intervene. "You deserved better," she said, and hearing that from someone else felt validating in a way I didn't expect. Sophie and I have been reconnecting, and she's even offered to help with some aspects of my wedding planning. It's bittersweet to realize how much family I might have missed out on because I was so focused on surviving the toxic dynamics at home. Update 4. This one took me by surprise. A week ago, I received a handwritten letter from my dad. He apologized for years of neglect, admitted that they'd leaned too heavily on me being the independent one, and confessed that they'd poured everything into Liam because they thought he needed more help. While it doesn't excuse the past, it's the first time I've ever seen my dad acknowledge the imbalance. He ended the letter with a request, a chance to start fresh. I haven't responded yet, but I'm leaning toward meeting him halfway. Not for his sake, but for mine. Update 5. Out of nowhere, Liam texted me last night. No guilt trips, no entitlement, just a simple, "Hey, I miss us being close. Can we talk?" I'm conflicted. Part of me thinks he's only reaching out because he sees my success and feels left out. But another part wonders if there's genuine regret behind his message. I've decided to sleep on it. I'm not ready to dive back into a dynamic that's caused me so much pain. But I also believe people can change, if they truly want to. For now, I'm focusing on my future with Anna, my growing business, and the people who've proven they're in my corner. Whether my family becomes part of that corner remains to be seen.